Ladies and gentlemen, happy Victory Monday. The Buffalo Bills take down the Kansas City Chiefs 28-21, improve to 6-2. And damn, we need to talk about it. Guys, I appreciate all of your patience. As many of you know, as I was celebrating I'm pretty sure a Maxwell Hairston rep against Xavier Worthy, I spilled sparkling water all over my keyboard. I wake up this morning, my computer was completely on the fritz, was not working whatsoever. So I had to drive an hour away to Best Buy to purchase another computer. But lo and behold, there was no way that I could not go live and unpack everything that we learned from this game, because damn, it feels good. I really hope a lot of the negative Nancys that have been in the chat for the past couple of weeks, maybe they weren't completely bought in after we beat the Carolina Panthers. Them beating the Packers this weekend perhaps makes that win look a little more attractive. Maybe the Baltimore Ravens looking like the Baltimore Ravens again makes that win look a little more attractive. But we just ended up taking down the Kansas City Chiefs. This team was the best offense throughout the past 3 weeks of the season. And damn, this defense, this offense, a all-in-all team win, man. The Buffalo Bills 6-2. We have the corpse of the Miami Dolphins coming up this Sunday. Things are riding high. Now, what are we going to do at the trade deadline? Have no fear. We are going to be unpacking everything on today's edition of the Don Mafia Report. As always, I ask each and every single one of you, hit that thumbs up sign. It's the easiest way to show love over here. And also roll call in the chat and let me know where you are tuning in from. You know that I'm nosy, and I want to see how far Bills Mafia truly extends. I need to give a giant shout out to a couple of our proud partners today, folks, starting off with our good friends over at William Mattar. Folks, if you are ever hurt in a car, you have to call William Mattar, #1 car accident attorney in the state of New York. I would not wish a car accident on anybody, but say, for example, that it does happen to you, you need to make sure that you have the right representation in your back pocket. Shout out to William Mattar for being a proud partner of the Don Mafia Report. Also need to give a giant shout out to Sleeper. Folks, Sleeper is the #1 player prop platform on the market today. If you were to take the over on James Cook all-purpose yards, you would have been a big winner last night, like myself. It's a simple process. Pick 2 to 6 players, accurately predict their projections, and if you hit each and every single one of them, you could see returns up to 1,000x. Signing up, it gives you a free $20 to play around with. Monday Night Football is happening tonight, so might as well give it a try. Link is in description. Terms and conditions apply, man. Shout out to our good friends over at Sleeper. The Buffalo Bills, the Kansas City Chiefs. Man, we have a lot to discuss about this game. That much I can tell you. But as promised, I want to see where everyone is tapping in from. Talk to me on this one. Joseph is coming in with a $5 donation, and I sincerely appreciate your generosity, my friend. Devastating injuries to Hoyt and Oliver. Keep up the momentum on defense by trading for a defensive lineman over a wide receiver. I don't trust Brady to utilize a new wide receiver. I'm going to put this one on the back burner for a hot second. I'm going to address it because I think you're going to feel a lot better with what I have to say. However, I want to see where everyone's tapping in from. Guys, lurkers, do not be shy. Let me know where you're tuning in from, man. We have Buffalo, New York, obviously. West Seneca, El Paso, Texas. Atlanta is in the building. Iowa. United Kingdom is in the building. The Rock, Rochester, New York is in the building. Cleveland, Ohio, man. Talk to me. Mexico is in the building. Fort Collins, Colorado. Durham, North Carolina. Elo, Hawaii. Gulfport, Mississippi. Williamsville, New York. We have tuning in from Richmond, Virginia. Go Bills. Rosenberg, Oregon. Depew, New York. Albania is in the building. What is going on, everybody? Love to see it, man. Bills Mafia is truly worldwide. So I do kind of want to start off this episode of unpacking some of the positives that we saw from the game. Negatives, obviously, being Michael Hoyt being out for the year with a torn Achilles. And we also heard and we saw that Ed Oliver went down the week before with his torn bicep. Now, does this shift where Brandon Beane goes for the trade deadline? I would not put it past him. I could see him targeting a defensive tackle. I could see him also targeting a wide receiver. I could see him going for the double punch, if you will. Perhaps what Buffalo wants to do is go to the Saints and ask for Olave and one of their defensive tackles. I think that team is on the verge of a fire sale, if you will. But say that Brandon Beane does not do anything with the interior defensive line. I am not so much worried, and here is why. Ed Oliver and Michael Hoyt together have only played 2 games apiece. Say, for example, you want to put Ed Oliver into maybe 3, and Michael Hoyt ultimately ended up playing 2 for this team, 1.5. This Buffalo Bills defensive line, with all of that being put into consideration, was still top 3 in the NFL for pressure percentage. We have been a good pressure-creating defensive line all season long. We just haven't particularly been finishing the job, if you will. I mean, yesterday we did, and that was fantastic. This was hands down one of the best I've seen a defensive line impact a quarterback, especially a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes. However, I don't particularly think that we need to worry with Michael Hoyt and Ed Oliver out for the season. Now, do I wish that they were here? 110%, because they make our defensive line elite. However, without them, this Buffalo Bills defensive line is still great. And I got to tell you, based off of historical defensive line performances, a great defensive line is a hell of a lot better than what we have had within the past couple of years. Thankfully, our secondary has been looking tremendous, especially since Maxwell Harrison and Jordan Hancock have been plugged into the equation. I know a lot of you were skeptical about Jordan Poyer taking over reps again. I mean, something's happening with this defense, guys. I'm not sure if it's his leadership. I'm not sure what way you want to go about it. But damn, let me tell you what, something is different about the secondary. It seems like communication is just at an all-time high. That helps out your defensive line. So if it were up to me, I would still have wide receiver as my number 1 target. If, for example, you can double dip and get both in the building, sign me up. However, I'm not seeing 2 world-breaking stars at both of those positions coming in by this time tomorrow. So that's my long-winded take, if you will, when it comes into it. All right? Man, guys, let's go ahead and talk into it. Guys, as always, we are going to be welcoming my good friend Tommy from the Mafia Sports Report. We are going to be unpacking everything that we got from this game, reasons to celebrate, what we need to look forward to as the seasons continue. So hit that thumbs up sign, man. 447 of you are in the building already. 202 of you are on YouTube, man. Let's get up to 202 like buttons. I think that we can get that done. And for the 98 of you over on Facebook, roll on over to YouTube, a much more welcoming live chat community that I think that you will enjoy. Go win, Bills, like always. Chiefs will get y'all if they see each other in the playoffs. Yeah, man, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm having a hard time finding a way for the Chiefs to make the playoffs this year. And that's crazy to say, right? Because it's Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. But look, how this division, how this conference is looking right now. You see the Kansas City Chiefs are 5-4. And you have the LA Chargers are 6-3 with the tiebreaker against Kansas City. And you have the Denver Broncos sitting at 7-2. Once the bye week is over for the Kansas City Chiefs, guess what? They go into Denver with that defense, which is still operating like a well-oiled machine, even without PS2. I mean, I got to tell you, dude, I would not be shocked either way if Kansas City misses the playoffs or they make the playoffs. It's a very good team, but they just had a slow start, and they did. I thought that we made them look very one-dimensional. And I'm not buying into the whole, oh, it always happens this way. It's regular season wins, but then you lose in the playoffs. It is a juvenile methodology. It is a juvenile way to look at things. Each and every single year is different, right? Like, what team is going to be at full health by the time that playoff matchup happens? And based off of how Kansas City looked against Buffalo last week, I mean, look, you can't tell me that Kansas City was saving it for the matchup in the playoffs. That team was quite literally in desperation mode. They needed to win that game. If you wanted to tell me that that's how Kansas City played the Buffalo Bills in the past during the regular season, I would have bought it. But now there is no way that the Kansas City Chiefs purposely went out there and held things back when they were in such a detrimental circumstance within their own division. making their playoff hopes that much more difficult to attain. So that tells me that it's more so Kansas City than it is them holding things back, that perhaps that's truly what they are. Still a good team, and you know what? I look forward to the potential playoff matchup, but based off of what I saw last night and based off of what I've seen so far during this season, I'm not all that convinced that we are going to be seeing them in the playoffs in general, let alone playing the Buffalo Bills. Statement: I think the Bills will make a move for two positions in the trade deadline, a defensive lineman and a wide receiver. I bet we will get the news tomorrow and or tonight. It's being after dark, man. It's being after dark. Some people are predicting that it's going to be a relatively quiet trade deadline. I am not of that camp. I think that there is going to be fireworks tomorrow. Myself, TD, and Colby will be live on the Bleacher Report YouTube channel, breaking down all of the trade news at 10 a.m. EST. You don't want to miss out on it, folks. Genuinely, you do not. So do me a favor, go subscribe over to Bleacher Report tomorrow and show us a little bit of love, man, because I am going to be watching like a hawk, waiting for a big name, a needle mover for the wide receiver on the outside to make things happen. That much I can tell you. Please comment on soft zone coverage towards the end of the game. Felt like 13 seconds all over again. McDermott hasn't learned. Big W Bills. So you heard one of my keys of the game was running man coverage, right? So you can't run exclusively man coverage, right? Like you need to be able to run zone occasionally because you need to be able to sort of put the quarterback and the offense on their toes. Eventually, a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes would have figured that out. So I understand that people are always going to try and find something to complain about because that's the nature of humanity. But for the most part, I think that we cannot give shit to anybody on the defense. Maybe outside of the 4th and 17 was annoying, but I mean, who cares? Like we pressured Patrick Mahomes 28 times, right? Like he ended up throwing a pick. Like this team had him uncomfortable all game long, giving Patrick Mahomes the worst performance of his overall career. So I don't know. Yes, of course, there are always things that you can clean up, but at the end of the day, can't run exclusively man coverage, although that I really wanted them to for the most part. Anyway, my good friend Tommy's in the building. Tommy, what up, dude?
What up, Dan? Happy Victory Monday to you, and happy Victory Monday to all of Bills Mafia out there rocking with us today. Oh, yeah. It feels good. It feels good.
It feels good, man. Listen, you know what? Like, we didn't even talk before the game. Did you have the Bills winning this one, or did you have Kansas City winning?
I did. I had the Bills winning this one, and I was really surprised by a lot of Bills Mafia having the Chiefs not only win, but win by a landslide. Look, man, I knew this. I couldn't believe it, but I was like, okay, I get it. I get the frustration. I understand this is in. We've been doing this long enough, me and you, Dan, to know how this works, right? Like, yeah, we've lost 2 in a row. You guys should know this as well. We normally bounce back, and against the Chiefs, come on, guys, we give them fits. We give them their toughest battles, and I knew there's no way that the Bills were just going to get dog walked in Buffalo against a team that is basically a division game. I mean, it's really kind of what it's turning out to be. We play them so much, look, I had us winning by 3 or 4 points. But I said if we did lose, it was going to be about 3 or 4 points as well. But I did have us winning. And yeah, ultimately they got the job done. So I was just really surprised that a lot of Bills fans were so, against, or not against, but just so unwilling to accept that the Bills are still a good team. And yeah, we have flaws. There's things that need to be corrected and fixed. But we still are a good team. We still can hang with the best. So that just proved that on Sunday.
Always, man. And you know what? Whether or not that we would like to admit it, this team has been constructed to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. That has been the goal of Brandon Beane for the past couple of off seasons, in free agency, in the drafts. So I always know that we match up with them well. So for people to go out and suggest that we were about to lose in a blowout fashion was not something that I particularly bought into. How we won a different conversation. And there were a lot of things we learned about this team, Tommy. I have 5 topics that I kind of wanted us to speed run through. And number 1, we got to talk about this young man, Maxwell Hairston. Tommy, I'm not going to lie to you. When I saw those reps of Maxwell Hairston running stride for stride with Xavier Worthy on my television, I was ready to scream. In fact, I would say that how successful Maxwell Harrison was the reason why I spilled sparkling water on my keyboard last evening. And I had to drive to Best Buy this morning to buy a new one. Well worth it, my friend. Worth every single penny, because last night he ended up with a 1 pass deflection, 1 interception, and held Xavier Worthy to 12 yards. Now, this defense has looked a hell of a lot different ever since Sean McDermott took over. But I think that a couple of these pieces being re-implemented are really paying their dividends. We drafted Maxwell Hairston for this reason alone. You could say, oh, yeah, like maybe it's the speedsters within our division. I can get that. But you know what was going through Brandon Beane's mind when it was his turn to draft in April. He saw the speed in Maxwell Harrison, and he said, that is our guy that is going to make sure that Kansas City is not going to burn us. And by God, did the young man step up and prove himself. Thoughts on Max?
Dude, he absolutely did. Listen, and this is, guys, this is just the beginning of this guy's career. Like he has a lot to go, a lot to learn, but this is a positive sign, right? Going against a guy like a Worthy, who's a burner, right? Has a record for the fastest 40 time in the NFL Combine, and he, like you said, he kept up with him stride for stride. So, and then also made a play on the ball a few times actually. So, in the interception, which by the way he predicted that he would get prior to the game. So pretty cool for Harrison to kind of throw that out there, and he got one against Patrick Mahomes, but. Yeah, man, you see why they drafted him. It's right there, guys. We didn't have a guy like him that was capable of keeping up with burners, the Tyreek Hills, the Worthies out there. So this is why they drafted him, and this is what you're seeing today. And it's an unfortunate, Dan, that he got hurt early on in camp and missed all that time. But luckily for us, it wasn't a major season-ending injury, because he's come at a perfect time. We needed this. This is a great time for Harrison to be available when we need him at the most, right? So, yeah, it's great to see. And as the season goes on, Dan, you're going to see more and more snap count, and eventually he will just take over that CB2 role.
And so a player, right, or like a scenario where you need the Buffalo Bills to run predominantly man coverage, like we did last night. Like there was a lot of man coverage out there last evening, maybe outside of the 4th and 17, but I'm going to save that for the portion of where we get frustrated and talk about things that annoy us. But when you have a player like this, you can rely on said player. What frustrates me sometimes is when I see a slower DB lining up with off coverage and giving about 8 to 9 yards from the line of scrimmage. He's one of the very few on this team right now that I trust with that. His recovery speed is absolutely insane. I'm fine if he's lining up off of the line of scrimmage for about 8 to 9 yards, because I know that recovery speed is there. 50% of the snaps last night, I think he probably could be trending toward taking almost all of the reps away from Tre'Davious White, maybe even next week, when we go up against the corpse of the Miami Dolphins. But again, like you said, I would not have guessed, based off of these past 2 weeks, that this young man missed all of training camp and the first half of the season. How he's been able to adjust, man, credit to him and credit to this coaching staff for ramping him up.
Yeah, absolutely. And then really, honestly, if you go back a little bit, like maybe a month ago or so, Sean McDermott talking about him, it seemed like he just wasn't even like caught up with the playbook. The way that McDermott was talking, like we may not see him at all. It was almost coming to the point where like, well, there goes another rookie that we're not going to see this year, right? Or get, be available. So It looks like he did his homework. It looks like he was putting that extra work in with the playbook, and then obviously he got right back on track when he got healthy in practice. So it's good to see, man. I just hope, like I said, I hope he can continue to get better as the weeks go on, because we're going to need him.
So the secondary improved, and then the next big outlier of this game, hands down, had to be the defensive line. Now, obviously, I'm showing a little bit of love to Joey Bosa. That man hates the Kansas City Chiefs. I can already tell. That guy had a fire in his eye every single time that the camera, was focused on him. He was in the backfield early and often. 8 total pressures, 3 tackles, 2 tackle for losses, 5 quarterback hits, and a sack. When you end up looking at the rest of the defensive line, you had 8 pressures from Gregory Rousseau, 3 pressures from A.J. Epinesa, Jordan Phillips had 1, Deion Walker had 1, Ogunjobi had 1. All in all, we pressured Patrick Mahomes 28 times. That is insane. All we talked about all offseason long was looking at how the Philadelphia Eagles were able to get the best of Patrick Mahomes in that offense, and we said we have to disrupt Patrick Mahomes' rhythm by getting to the quarterback. Everybody was eating on the defensive line last night. Sucks about Michael Hoyt. Sucks about Ed Oliver. Losing out on him yesterday. But like I was telling everybody before we came in here, we need to remember that this Buffalo Bills defensive line was still top 3 in the NFL for pressure percentage, while missing out on Ed Oliver and Michael Hoyt for the beginning of the season. While Hoyt and Ed Oliver, in my opinion, make this defensive line elite, what we have right now is still considered a great defensive line, and that is a massive improvement from what this defense historically has had to deal with under the Sean McDermott and Brandon Beane era. Thoughts on the defensive line? This was the big factor for me last night. Go ahead.
Yeah, the defensive line definitely stepped up in this game. I thought last week they did as well, but last week was more so, okay, Andy Dalton's a statue back there. Once you get back there, he's an easy target. He just kind of stays. So the test was this week, and I said, okay, let's see what the defensive line can do this week. Let's see if they can get home. Let's see if they can hit Mahomes, and they sure did. So I think that also you got to credit McDermott a little bit here. He took over play calling, clearly. He took over in the second half of the Falcons game, and you could see it in the Panthers game and obviously in the Chiefs game. So he's getting those guys a little bit more motivated. Obviously calling a little bit different plays than Babbage was, being a little bit more aggressive in his showing. So I hope he keeps up with that. I don't care about Babbage feelings at this point. I just want to win. And if the defense keeps continuing to look like that, keep calling the plays, McDermott. But yeah, I will say though, the Hoyt injury, I think is worse than the Ed Oliver injury, bro. Hoyt was just, man, dude, that dude was impressive. And mind you, he only played a game and a half, had 2 sacks, and I still think he was getting his feet wet from missing all those games. So I don't even think we saw the best of Hoyt, and it's an unfortunate thing for him. But we'll see what we do at the deadline tomorrow. That's a different story. But yeah, I'm still liking the line. Groot looked really good. Joey Bosa, like you said, a minute ago, he was just on a mission. And I'm wrong about that signing as well. I'll eat crow on that. I didn't think it was the greatest signing in the world, but Joey Bosa so far has impressed me. So yeah, everybody's doing, and Deion Walker, everybody's doing their job on that line, which is really, really good. There's not a guy there in the last 2 games and I'm like, like they're underwhelming. They're all bringing it. So you got to love that.
So I think with the trade deadline coming up, I wouldn't be surprised if Brandon Beane is making calls on both, on defensive tackle and wide receiver. I'm not sure about you, but say that he has to choose between either of those positions. I'm still on the wide receiver camp. Say that he can only choose one, I'm going with wide receiver. I feel comfortable that Daquan Jones is hopefully going to be back next week against the Miami Dolphins. Then you have TJ Sanders, who's going to be coming off of IR after the Miami Dolphins as well. So I'm confident that we have reinforcements and we can just roll with what we have. I'm not concerned about the corpse of the Miami Dolphins next week. I feel like we'll be fine from the defensive line side of things, because As far as the edge rushers, what Deion Walker is still playing a hell of a game, although that he struggled a bit against the run last night, but I guess that's a different conversation. Thoughts on that, right? Like with this trade deadline coming up, still wide receiver camp, or would you also be okay with us bringing in a defensive tackle instead?
My first choice would be receiver. I've been saying it for really the beginning of the season. After that week 1 game, even though the week 1 game they showed up late in the game, I still didn't like what I saw from the receiver group, and it's really just been underwhelming. Now, of course, that could be also because a little bit of Joe Brady, a little bit of Sean McDermott, what he wants. That's a whole different story. But the facts are the facts. We need a guy that's a go-to guy for Josh. We need a one. We need a guy that's a perimeter receiver that can get the respect from defenders and defensive coordinators. And we just simply don't have that right now. I thought the game plan was smart in this game. We went to the guys that we're supposed to go to, the guys that Josh is comfortable with: Dalton Kincaid, Khalil Shakir, Keon Coleman. Not Keon Coleman, Dawson Knox, I meant. Keon Coleman, I can't believe I mentioned his name. He once.
Keon, damn Keon.
Yeah, I want him to be in my brain, but he's not. So, wide receiver would be my first choice. However, I think they can do multiple trades, and they may, just depending on obviously the player and the money obviously plays a part in this. But there's guys like Campbell, right, who's kind of on a veteran deal over there in Arizona. You could probably scoop him up for nothing much, for not a lot. Yeah. And then you figure out the receiver position. And look, man, I get people talk about the cap and it can't work and this. Like, let's say there's a guy with a little bit high of a cap. You guys got to remember, man. Look, if it can be done, it will be done. And if he has to extend that player right away and put his contract down the road, or do a restructure on another player here, or extend an early contract to somebody, I don't care. Neither should you guys. If this player can come here and make an impact where we can potentially win a Super Bowl, then who cares, right? Push those contracts down the road. That's how I feel about it, and I do think the Bills will be buyers by tomorrow. I do, or late tonight. There's going to be something that's going to happen. There's no way Bean. I just don't see it, Dan, where Bean sits on his hands. He hasn't done it in the last 2 years.
No, he hasn't.
And he's not only has he traded the last few years, but he traded for need.
Yeah.
Right. He just didn't make a trade for just, hey, well, I'll take this guy, even though he's not going to do much. He's traded Rasul Douglas, which was a need, and Amari Cooper last year, which was a need. So I think he'll do it again.
So the complexities of contracts can often cause confusion. Guys, I always recommend, please go to Spot Track NFL Trade Machine if you truly want to understand how much it's going to cost the Buffalo Bills this year to acquire a player. It doesn't matter if somebody signed a $100 million contract last week. As long as his cap hit is not egregious and over $1.7 million, which is the Bills are allotted to spend right now, it can work. So the world of A.J. Brown coming here, that would work because his cap hit is only at $500,000. Same thing with Chris Olave. Same thing with the Jalen Waddles of the world, say that Miami's dumb enough to send him our way. Ironically enough, Tommy, the most expensive player that is outside of our price range is actually Jacoby Myers. He would cost about $5 million this year. But again, in trades, you almost always see when a team is really struggling and they desperately need some draft picks, or they're trying to increase the value of that pick, like they want to turn a fourth into a third, very oftentimes they will eat the majority of that cap, keep it on their books, and send it over to that acquiring team. Perfect example was Jalen Phillips earlier this morning. The Miami Dolphins still ate the vast majority of his remaining cap. That's how he was able to go over to Philadelphia. So don't particularly look at our books and say, oh, we have $1.7 million. We can afford a hell of a lot more than you think. So just rest easy with that one. Rest easy with that one.
Correct. There's always ways around it. There's always ways.
Exactly.
And by the way, I want to say
NFL
this.
Trade
Sorry, Dan. I do want to say this though. If they make a trade, whatever trade it is, make it count. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Make sure it's a needle mover. Don't just I don't want. No offense to Shaheed, but we have enough Shaheeds here. If you're going to trade for a receiver, make a receiver. Do it for an Olave. or Waddle, make it count. You know what I mean? Like, don't just bring in another guy that we have plenty of, right? So
don't bring in a
and
guy.
if it's not right, don't bring in just another third, a third receiver, right? Like we already have plenty of those. And if it's not a receiver, I'll be like I said, look, man, whoever you trade for, make sure it's a needle mover. That's all I want. Make sure it's somebody that is impactful. At the end of the day, I'll be happy with whatever they do as long as it's an impactful trade. Even if it's not a receiver, even though I want one, whatever guy you bring here you trade for, make sure he moves the needle. Don't bring in Nyheim Hines. You know what I mean? Like bring somebody that could do something.
Yeah. And don't bring in a guy, bring in a dude. All right, like bring in a dude.
True, right.
All right, like that's what we want over here, baby. Bring in a dude. All right, listen. Moving on to the next player, and good God, man, talk about a dude that got a lot of crap from Bills fans. All right, for a very long time. Oh my God, he's a bust. He sucks. We need to bench this guy. He was public enemy number one. And you know what? He has taken on the moniker of being the player that has hit his stride and has taken the historic McDermott second-year player bump. That was Cole Bishop. He was the best player on the field, bar none, last night, if you were to ask me. I loved watching Max Harrison and his reps. Of course, that interception on Patrick Mahomes was a big deal. But if you want to talk about impact player, you're looking at him. Cole Bishop was a man on fire. I don't know if it has to do with he feels more comfortable playing alongside with Jordan Poyer, opposed to Taylor Rapp, but this guy made so many key plays for this defense. I would probably credit a lot to the fact that Patrick Mahomes had less than a 50% completion percentage to a lot of the pass breakups that Cole Bishop made out in coverage last night. 7 tackles, 4 pass deflections, 1 tackle for a loss. Guy was possessed, and I absolutely love to see it. I feel like we have the safety tandem like now, Tommy. I really do. I'm not so much concerned about safety anymore as long as Cole can continue this trajectory. Thoughts?
Dude. And I was one of those guys where I was like, I don't know, because of the early injury, his rookie year, he was up and down when he finally did come back last year. So I was like, I don't know. Did we pick the wrong guy? But I'm also willing to give guys chances, especially rookies. Sometimes it takes them a couple years to actually blossom and become better players. But you're seeing this season, as the season goes on, he's just getting better and better, more comfortable out there. And I gotta say too, I think the addition of Poyer, which many Bills Mafia was like, oh God, we're bringing back Poyer, old guy. That guy has helped a lot. I really, truly believe that. Him being out there on the field with him, along with Hancock as well, helping out Hancock, just being on the sidelines. It's just a guy that's been there, done that these guys could talk to. But Bishop was on, Dan, he was on a mission last night. Like, that dude was cracking people. I mean, Kelsey was like, Kelsey felt it. Believe me, that hit there late in the first half.
Did.
That dude was like, who the hell, right? This little dude, because Cole Bishop, he's not the biggest guy safety in the world, but that dude can bring it, and he was all over the field making plays. He actually, the ending of the game, not the last play, the play before, man, that was a great throw by Patrick Mahomes. We've seen that before, and we've had touchdowns on us like that, and he got in there and made a play on the ball and hit the ball away. So he was just all over the field, man. I love to see it. And dude, that's looking like a great pick right now.
It really, really was. And then we need to transition over to Josh Allen. An 88.5% completion percentage, and a guy that was so desperate into reminding the world that he indeed is the league MVP. This is by far the best consistent performance I have seen from Josh Allen all year. And the passing game was just working, Tommy. Was just working last night. Now, I do want to save Dalton Kincaid for this next topic afterwards. But first off, Josh looked comfortable out there. Although there were a couple of occasions where he bailed out of the pocket too early. He took a couple of sacks here and there. But a trend from 2025 has been when things don't particularly go his way, then he kind of attached to that, and that was the Josh we saw for the rest of the game. Ice was through his veins, was making those great decisions. The downfield passing game was here again, all right?
Yeah.
A 30-yard completion, 22, 19. Different guys getting open downfield out of the slot. Tight ends were eating all day. This is the passing offense that we all remembered from 2024. Thoughts on our boy JA-17?
No, he played a clean game. I mean, real clean game. If you look at his stats overall, I mean, I don't even need to look at him. I know him, but 23, 26, 273, 1 touchdown. I mean, that's super efficient. And obviously no turnovers. On the receivers, like I said, once again, it wasn't so much about the receivers, but the game plan was to get to the ball to the guys that Josh is most comfortable with. And you got to credit Brady for that as well. Kincaid with the 6 receptions, 101. You could see Kincaid and Josh now finally starting to really start to have that chemistry. And Khalil Shakir is another guy where I was like, hey, he is our best receiver right now. You need to target him more. He had 8 targets, so that's good to see there. 43 yards, not a monster game from him, but I like the targets. I like the 8 targets, 7 receptions. And Dawson Knox, I still think he could be evolved a little bit more, but he had the 1 for 30, not bad, but everybody else was a little disappointing. Elijah Moore had the 1 for 28. What I like to see from that, Dan, and I'm hoping, is that's our speed guy. That's the 4-3 guy. That's the guy that has.
I mean, he's our dude.
Why not? Right. He's our the over the top guy. I would like to see how, like, Kansas City Chiefs use Thornton here and there. Get him on a couple deep routes a game, right? He doesn't need a lot of targets, but that one right there, the 28-yard one, start throwing some more deep shots for him, at least 2 or 3 maybe a game, and that's all I'm wanting from Elijah Moore. We know what he is, at least on this team. So that's what I'm hoping they do moving forward, is a couple plays like that downfield. But outside of that, man, I thought Josh played a clean game. He understood who he needed to go to, in this game. And I said it too pregame, like it's going to be either Dawson Knox or Kincaid. He's going to go to the tight ends more, the guys he trusts, and he sure enough did. And obviously, the run game helps open up the pass game as well. So yeah, clean game from Josh. He didn't do anything dumb. He didn't force any bad throws in this game. No. So yeah, pretty clean game.
It's been solid. And you know what? The go-to has been Dalton Kincaid for a massive third-year jump. I saw something insane, and it just goes to show you that Buffalo historically has never really cared about the tight end position. I thought that I read that Dalton Kincaid is the first tight end in Bills franchise history that has ever had back-to-back games over 100 yards, has had 2 100-yard games at any given season. And this guy just makes the offense move. Say, for example, in a world where Bean doesn't end up going out and trying to find one extra weapon for Josh Allen, this is your guy right here. Like, this is the 2020 Travis Kelce. I'm not comparing them based off of production and who they are as a player. I'm talking about who is the guy that Josh Allen needs to look for, who is the one player in the pass game that you need to look to. And he has been this dude. He is the best route runner on this team. He is the best advanced metrically. When he is out on the field, the Buffalo Bills passing attack has several points improved with EPA, with DVOA. He's the guy that schemes everybody open. And the thing was that he was dealing with an injury for a little bit, right? Last week he was on a pitch count where he wasn't really out. But this was the first week where he was literally unleashed, where he was ready to go, like he had a full healthy snap count. And lo and behold, you shouldn't be shocked, this pass offense woke up. Again, I still want a wide receiver on the outside. But man, when you have a healthy Dalton Kincaid, this team operates like a well-oiled machine when it comes into the passing game. Thoughts on Kincaid?
Yeah, this is what we wanted to see last year. This is what we were expecting to see last year from Dalton Kincaid. But I'm glad that it came this year, because if it didn't, then obviously we would be having different conversations right now about Dalton Kincaid and us drafting him. But he's looking like this is the Kincaid that they envisioned. I think when they drafted him, this is what they wanted to see from him. And it was a little, like I said, that also falls a little bit on Brady for not opening it up a little bit more on his route tree. I think you're starting to see Brady opening up a little bit more for Kincaid as well, because a lot of stuff was short and underneath stuff early on with him. And now you're kind of seeing him take a little bit deeper routes, route tree opening up a little bit more as well. So it's good to see. And it's good to see Josh, like I said, that chemistry is growing and that trust is starting to get there between him and Kincaid. So, yeah, keep it up. And I'm with you. You still need a receiver. This just doesn't take away from that need, but this is a great sign that we're finally getting the best out of Kincaid, or at least what we thought we would get when we drafted him.
I will tell you what, folks, maybe Brandon Beane hit on a first-round draft pick after all. It's looking good for Maxwell Hairston. Hey, folks, if Dalton Kincaid continues and Max Hairston keeps doing what he does, maybe he's not all that bad at first-round picks after all. Hi, Dan. I'm heartbroken over Michael Hoyt injury. That sucks so bad. I didn't get to say that to you last night, Tommy, and it's for you as well, Dan. Thank you, Kat. I appreciate the donation. And yes, we feel awful about Michael Hoyt. Like, dude was just that chess piece, man. Like, he could play everywhere. Like, dude was playing off-ball linebacker. He was shifted inside. He was an edge rusher. It really gives offensive coordinators nightmares because you don't know how this defense was going to utilize him. We're certainly going to be missing an extra wrinkle to this defensive line, which sucks. Love Victory Mondays. R.I.P. Dan's laptop. Indeed. It has been retired. It's been a long run for me, an old faithful. But out with the old and in with the new. I guess it was not a Josh Allen issue after all. Perception. Well, look, sometimes I think QB1 has the case of the yips every now and again. And typically it happens in October. I'm glad that everything was being figured out. And so I did have this theory that like he was slowly but surely trying to get used to what this offense has evolved to, like Tommy. Last week I pointed out that in 2024, so the Bills ran close to about 50-50 shotgun and under center formation. This year it's transitioned over to 60% to 40%. So it's like 63% is under center and was like 38 when it came into shotgun. A lot of those deep passes we saw from Josh last night were out of shotgun, right? So I think that if you want Josh to look incredible in the pass game, has to be out of that shotgun formation. That or just keep forcing it until he gets used to it. I know that he's a better quarterback under center statistically, but I do think that there was a case where he just didn't feel quite as comfortable as he was. I'm glad he figured it out. And especially in a team like this.
Yeah, he's always been comfortable. He prefers to be in shotgun. That's his thing. But he does need to obviously get comfortable under center as well if you want to be a well-rounded quarterback. And I know he can. Like, Josh he's upped his game every year. His mechanics, everything, and that's part of it too. But you're right though. Like passing when he goes, the passing game is a little bit smoother when he's in shotgun for sure. When he's throwing the ball out there than under center, but under center does open up play action a lot better than it is in shotgun. So there is things that going under center is best for, but. For me, honestly, man, it's whatever right now, honestly, is whatever he's comfortable with, and whatever is helping us score points. I don't care. I once again, I prefer her. I like that he goes under center. I prefer him to do that a little bit more. But at this point, all right, I just want to score points, man. And if he's more comfortable in shotgun, then let it be, right? Go with what your quarterback comfortable, and let him work on that in the off season.
And that is where it's at. Well, I will tell you what, and the Buffalo Bills are currently 6-2, taking down the former AFC champion. And I'll tell you what, man, that has us as Super Bowl favorites, only behind the Kansas City Chiefs at plus 650 favorites.
They still have the Chiefs up there? Wow.
They still have the Chiefs up there. And I'll be completely honest with you, I'm not even entirely convinced that Kansas City has a good path to the playoffs in the first place. It is going to be a very difficult run. which is also half of the reason why I'm not buying into this whole thing. Like, oh, like Kansas City, like they were saving it for Buffalo in the playoffs, like each and every single year. Save that for me. Look, this Kansas City Chiefs team needed to win this game. They needed
it more than us. Dan,
they needed it more than us, because right now where it stands, they're 5-4 with the LA Chargers with the tiebreaker above them at 6-3, and the Denver Broncos at 7-2. Now they have a bye week, and they go into Denver the following week, which is not going to be a cakewalk at all.
They're a good defense. They may not have a great offense, but yeah.
So miss me with the whole that like Kansas City held back because they knew that they find the Bills in the playoffs. They needed to win this game, and they just laid an egg. Like, that's exactly what happened. The better team ultimately ended up winning. But in my opinion, this has never changed. Like, you look at all the books, and Buffalo has always been top 2 in overall Super Bowl contention. Thoughts on this? Are the Buffalo Bills back, or have they ever left? Are they still Super Bowl contenders in your eyes with this current roster?
Without any trades right now as we sit today. They're up there. I don't, it's tough. I mean, I got to be honest, like Philadelphia, if I were to put that in order, I would say Philly right now would be my top, considering all the moves they made. They're still a dangerous team. They are the Super Bowl champions. They're still playing at a decent high level. The Lions are up there. I want to put them second. I don't, that's rough. You know what? I would probably go Eagles, Lions, and Bills right now. If I'm going to be in, and I'm not being a homer with that, with the Bills there. But, so yeah, I guess so. If I'm putting us third, yeah, why not? Super Bowl contender, sure. As long as you got Josh Allen, we're a playoff team. And when you get in the playoffs, it's all about getting hot at the right time and healthy, right? And then add on that if we do make any trades. So, yeah, I guess I'll take that back. If I'm putting us third right now on that, the Rams are a good team too, but the Packers have their flaws on offense. So I'm just kind of weighing it all down. The Kansas City Chiefs, if you're right, if they even get in the playoffs, that's the problem, man. The way their division's playing out right now, boy, they got some games to make up.
Yeah.
So that's a big what if. I still want to count them out. They're a dangerous team. But they got some work to do. They got some work to do now.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens with them. But if they get into the playoffs, if we have this conversation a little bit later in the season, Dan, which I think we should, then we'll see. Then maybe, we'll rearrange everything. But right now, that would be the order. I would say Bills right now are in third on that list if I had to do it. Which, yeah, I guess that would make us Super Bowl contenders.
So I got to tell you right now, it's not so much me saying that we're Super Bowl contenders. I think the hotter take here is that I think the Buffalo Bills are your 1 seed, like based off of what I saw. I understand that, like we did have that 2-game skid, but each and every single team above us has 2 losses already. And is my good friend TD Finstock mentioned something on today's episode of Fourth and Forever, which surprisingly made some sense. He said, it's getting to the point of the season where it's run the damn ball. It's a run the damn ball part of the season. What teams can rely on their run game once this winter weather starts to ramp up? Because you're going to start seeing some brutal conditions, especially for a lot of the teams in the AFC that have to travel up north or ultimately end up having stadiums when this, old father winter starts ramping up. Last night I saw the Indianapolis Colts lose to the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's the Daniel Jones I remember.
Yeah, that's
the Daniel Jones I remember. I have looked at the rest of their schedule. Absolutely brutal. With the New England Patriots, while the Buffalo Bills have the Philadelphia Eagles, they have the New York Giants. While we have the Kansas City Chiefs, they have the Las Vegas Raiders. So it's a last place schedule. And the New England Patriots can't run the football. They are one-dimensional to an absolute T. I think that they're going to struggle once they ultimately end up going up against teams with this winter weather incorporated. If they can't establish a well put together run like offense, it's going to be tough for this team to hold on to the AFC East, if you were to ask me. As far as Denver, still have questions for them offensively with Pittsburgh. unless they end up getting 3 turnovers per game, they're not very consistent. Same thing with the LA Chargers. They have their flaws, and the Jacksonville Jaguars have their flaws. This is the Buffalo Bills conference. They are your 1 seed. And so it is what it is.
And there's always letdown games. So we've already had ours, I believe. I think we're past that stage. Yeah. And we do it every year. We have letdown games, guys. That's why I kind of was not so hitting the panic button when we had those, because it's kind of we've been down that road. Though things weren't, it did feel a little bit different, though, the 2 losses compared to the previous years. And
so rest be assured, say that the Patriots played the Kansas City Chiefs last night, would be complete belt to ass.
Yeah.
And so the Kansas City Chiefs would have rolled the New England Patriots. Like no question.
Yeah.
So the Pats just got lucky to get Buffalo right in their overall slump in October, and I cannot wait for that December game, because it's going to be a mutiny, and I cannot wait.
Oh, absolutely. And like I said, the Patriots they got some games coming up too. Tampa Bay is going to be a tough one, and there's going to be a letdown game here or there.
Have Baltimore as well.
Exactly. Who's coming back? Yeah, who's playing a little bit better now. So once again, and those are games that I have that they're probably going to lose. So that's not counting games that they should win that they'll probably lose, because there's going to be a letdown game. So you're right. I mean, we'll see with the Colts. They're still an interesting team. They didn't play too great yesterday, but they can run the ball. Obviously, we know Jonathan Taylor is right now on, playing, he's up there with Cook. It would be probably him and Cook, top 2 backs in the NFL right now. So, but yeah, Daniel Jones can't be trusted. That's the problem. Josh Allen can. So you take away Taylor, look what happens to Jones. You take away Cook, Allen will be okay, because Allen is an MVP quarterback. So there's a big difference there when it comes to quarterbacks, which matters a lot. So that's why I don't have the Colts up there, because Daniel Jones, once again, he showed why he didn't work out in New York. So
yeah. It's, dude, like, look, man, like I'm sitting here. So the Patriots schedule as well. So still have old man Flacco as well, who threw for over 400 yards, 470 right off of the top.
Yeah, their defense is terrible.
So the defense is god awful, and so the defense is god awful. So it's definitely interesting. Here's my take. So I have a feeling that Buffalo takes back the AFC East next week. So when we roll the Miami Dolphins, I think that Tampa Bay beats New England relatively easily. And so I think that we don't look back from there.
Okay.
And
so that makes sense. Kind of just go on the roll from there and kind of leave them in the dust. I agree with that as well. And then we see them later on in this year, and we'll get that makeup game. We'll take that back.
Yeah.
So you're right. I don't know where New England will finish. But I had them winning, I think, early on to start the season. I've had them as an 8 or 9 win team. They're probably looking at about a 9 win. I would be comfortable at 9, maybe
I'd
10.
Say 11.
They might get 10. We'll see. We'll see. I don't know. Will there be if they have a couple letdown games, including the games that we have them losing, 10 win, 9, 10. I mean, we'll see. I mean, 11 would be a pretty damn good season for them.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll find out. We'll find out soon enough with them. But I don't see. I see us, like you said, taking back the division and not looking back.
Taking it back. 1 seed is here, dude. You're grasping at straws. We have a Patriots fan in here. I mean, are we? Are we, my friend? I know you're sweating. And so I know you're sweating, man. Like, you saw the Buffalo Bills beat down the Chiefs last night. You're like, damn, they just won't die. And then you looked at what this team truly looks like, and you're like, damn. And then you're looking at the Baltimore Ravens on your schedule. You're looking at Joe Flacco and the Bengals on your schedule. And you're looking at Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on your schedule. You're like, oh, man, this could all unravel real damn fast.
Buffalo.
Buffalo again, man. Come on. No. Look. I said that the Patriots would win 11 games this year toward the beginning of the offseason. I still stand pat on that. And, man, I can't wait. I can't wait to get it going. All right, so Super Bowl favorites. Now, moving on, I feel like this MVP race is kind of an interesting question because I'm having a hard time like really pointing out like who the leader is for MVP right now. Like right now, all of the media is crowning Josh Allen again, saying, for example, that, oh my God, it's him. And you know what? Me, I'm not too much bought into the whole he needs to win the MVP. I don't care about individual accolades anymore. Like he won it last year. Great. But comparing his statistics from 2024, where he ultimately ended up winning it, to now, he's beating everything. 6-2. He has more passing yards, 2,113, and has 20 total touchdowns. And many people can continue to go out and say he probably has less weapons from the wide receiver room this year. So in your eyes, should Josh Allen be in the MVP conversation based off of the quality of win he had last night against Kansas City?
Yeah, I mean, he definitely should be, talked about, in that. But I don't think he gets it this year. I just don't. Unless he goes on a really hell of a run here in the second part of the season, which is possible, by the way, very possible. Depending on, like I said, once again, what do we do at the deadline? Do we start picking up the passing game? Does he just start going ham, right? Does he have big moments and big games like he did last year? Because that Chiefs game last year is really what kind of propelled him into that. I think that sealed the deal, right?
Yeah.
That run against Kansas City. So, I think honestly, we'll see how the season plays out, the rest of the season. If he can have some big moments like that, it's very possible he could win it again. But right now, I wouldn't have him as a winner. Like if he continues on, just because of the passing yards, I don't think they're going to be there at the end of the season compared to some of the other quarterbacks out there. But we'll see. Like I said, once again, we'll see. It's not always about stats. He wasn't. Lamar had better stats last year, and Allen wound up winning the MVP. So we'll find out, but I think he's going to need a couple bigger moments later in the season to maybe get him in that, where he's talked about even more about the MVP. But I don't think he cares, and I don't think, honestly, I don't care. I want a Super Bowl, and I think he does.
Yeah, me neither.
Like, just.
So me neither, man. Like right now, like sort of how I look at it. And so I think with Drake May has been looking pretty good. So like he's probably in the conversation, but like we have to see how he plays in November, right? So we need to see like what he looks up like against actual competition. Right?
Second half of the season.
Second half of the season is very, very important, right? Like you don't have a run game at all. So can you carry enough to where you can overcome that? Baker is interesting as well. Like that poor guy has been dealing with so many different injuries with his wide receiver room all season long. I think Daniel Jones may have slid down in the conversation. Shout out Sam Darnold, though. Shout out Sam Darnold. Shout out Matthew Stafford. There could be a lot of sleepers for this award this year.
Yeah. I mean, Mahomes was being talked about it at one point. You know what I mean? So he's not having a terrible. Stafford, May, Daniel Jones, like you said, I think he slipped down a little bit because of that game. We'll see, though. Like I said, once again, second half of the season, we'll see if he bounce back. But he definitely will be in comeback player of the year or something like that, maybe. For Daniel Jones, if I believe he could fit in that category, I think. And yeah, that's it, really. I mean, outside of that, bro, Dak's not having the greatest year, nothing crazy. Bo Nix is taking a step back. Baker Mayfield, that's a guy that could potentially be talked about as well. But right now, I would say, it would be probably Herbert, Mahomes is still considered there, even Stafford. You can kind of put him in that category as well as top quarterbacks right now, playing in Allen, obviously. But there's some players ahead of Allen right now.
Some players ahead of Josh Allen. Again, Tommy and I could care less about the MVP right now.
Don't care.
I don't care. And you know what? Like, no disrespect to Ravens fans, but like y'all care about that more than I think you care about a Super Bowl.
Oh, dude, right?
And to be honest,
they take that shit personally.
They do take it personally. They really, really do. Look, Ravens fans, and so I love you, and so I got nothing against you, especially since we dominated you in the past 2 times we played you. But I mean, look, like we don't care about this MVP. Like we've already won. All I need is Josh to stay consistent, and if history continues to repeat itself, right? Mm-hmm. Then I think that we have not even seen the best of Josh yet. I really do.
Yeah, no, I don't either. And I think, like I said, once again, I think they kind of had Josh a little bit boxed in a little bit to start the season. They kind of wanted him to almost be a game manager, which he's not. And I hope they start. This game you can see him open up a little bit more, throw it a little bit more downfield. And I hope they start letting him take more opportunities like that, because that's the Josh we know. And Josh likes to play that style of football as well. So I think if you also make a trade, bring in a receiver here, you can see Josh's stats go up. Matter of fact, they went up last year when we got Cooper. So, yeah, I don't see why they wouldn't go up if we got another receiver here that's capable of being a 1. So
that is what I am talking about. Folks, I promised that I would be giving away a signed Keon Coleman helmet. All right,
Keon, baby.
Keon Coleman. I know a lot of you are probably like, oh, great. That's exciting. All right. Anyway, don't worry. I'm giving it away. As promised.
He's giving it away.
Quality Keon Coleman signed helmet. I'll even include the case in here, folks.
Hey.
For you to go on ahead and post it or put it right within your collection. What I need all of you to do is start putting Go Bills in the chat. All right. I am going to close my eyes. I'm going to randomly scroll up and down 1,000,000 times until I ultimately end up picking a random name. Don't spam it crazy, right? Like, don't be going like Go Bills 30 times in a row, but just go on ahead and put Go Bills in as you can. And then I am going to start. Tommy, do me a favor and count down from 10. And then once you get to 1, I'm going to stop my mouse, and that is going to be the person that wins this. Go ahead.
All right, you ready? All right.
Go ahead.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Bills.
All right, that is Carvin. 303, baby.
Carving it up.
My guy, you just won the signed Keon Coleman helmet contest. Thank you so much, sir. Do me a favor. Send me over a DM on either Instagram and or X at RealDanMitchell. Let me know your address, and then I will go on ahead and I will get this sent out to you hopefully Wednesday or Thursday. I'll send you over tracking information. Congratulations, my friend. You are now the winner. All right. Congratulations, man. Great. Fun fact. One of you won a signed Thurman Thomas helmet last week.
Oh, nice.
And you still haven't reached out to me and let me know where you are.
Man.
So I can send it to you. So the Thurman Thomas guy, again, do me a favor. All right. DM me your address so I could send that off to you. If not, I'm going to have to recycle it back into the giveaways. This week's giveaway is a signed Dalton Kincaid rookie card.
Ooh.
I know you're excited about that one. Okay.
That's a good one.
I know you're excited about that one.
Yeah,
we have a signed Dalton Kincaid rookie card that I will be giving away to one of you lucky viewers. Make sure, all right, that you must be a subscriber to this YouTube channel, and we will be announcing the winner on mine and Tommy's morning edition of Victory Mondays for the Buffalo Bills. Damn.
Yes, sir. Man, Keon Coleman, look at Carvin Yomi one. I did the countdown.
He did the countdown. You know what? I am going to have Tommy make a burner, and I'm going to rig it and give it to him. All right? Like, that is what we
Carvin.
And that is what we are going to do. Someone says, RIP laptop. We will be having the burial here soon. You must be a mod to win giveaways. Oh, look at that. JTL. Oh, man, he's going into it, dude. He's going into it. We have a couple of super chats here. Question for the guest. And do you see an easier path for the Bills winning the AFC after this week? Is the path easier for you now?
The AFC, is it easier? Yeah, I mean, they just proved that they could hang with the big dogs, right? They just beat the Kansas City Chiefs, who were considered probably one of the best football teams right now, playing the best at the time. The rest of the schedule that we got here for the Buffalo Bills to finish out, we got really, I mean, honestly, guys, they're all winnable games, right? I think we had our letdowns at this early on in October, which we tend to do every season. So from now on, by the way, Dan, when I do my predictions, you know, I'm gonna always count 2 losses in October. From now on, moving forward, always like I'm done. I have to. I don't care who they're against.
The October slump is gonna happen. When will it happen?
Right. I don't care who they're 2 losses. Count them. October. But anyways, we beat Miami. We beat Tampa at home because we're at home. I believe we beat Houston. We're gonna beat Pittsburgh. In my opinion, Cincinnati's a wreck. I think we get our revenge game in New England. At Cleveland, they're just a mess as well on offense. And Philly's going to be the tough one. That's I think our next, our toughest opponent remaining, and that's week 17. So we'll see where Philly is though at that point. And if what they're playing for, right? If they're playing still for the division, it could be a really, really good game. It is in Buffalo though. So that game's going to be interesting. That one could be a potential loss, but I think it depends how we're playing as well. If we're playing on a, you know, at high, you know, as far as just blowing teams out or looking really good, that could be a game where we win as well. And then you got the Jets to finish it off, and I don't think we're losing to the Jets at the last game last regular season game, that is, in Buffalo. So that's how I have it, man. So we could potentially lose 1 game at the remaining of that. So we could, you know, have a nice record there, 14-3. So
good,
not bad. I think that gets it done. I do, because we just talked about New England and some of the you know, the games they have remaining. There's going to be a letdown game as well, I believe, or 2. And I just don't think they win the division, you know, or the conference, that is. I'm sorry. And the Chiefs are I think the Chiefs are just too far behind. Same thing, obviously, with the Ravens. Like, so, you know, it's funny. The teams that we went into the season thinking we were going to be in this like tight race with are the teams that are really like trailing. I mean, you think about it. It's crazy when you think about it. Nobody thought the Colts would be top right now. Nobody thought New England would be top right now.
So you look at the current top 4 seeds, and like you would have thought that Tom Brady, Ben Roethlisberger, and Peyton Manning were still in the league. You know what I mean? Luck, for example. It's funny, and we will see who stands on top in November and December football, because this is the most important football. So it is what it is.
So out of those teams, real quick too, and I want to say, and for me, I always go back to quarterback matters the most, right? Like on a team, who has the best quarterback, and all those teams, I mean, guys, it's Josh Allen. Out of the teams now that are top. So I'm going to go with the guy that's the MVP, the guy that's the best quarterback out of all those that are remaining on top right now as we sit. So if I were to put my money on it, I would say Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen will win the conference AFC, just because of that alone. And because I don't trust Daniel Jones. Drake May, yes, he's playing good, but he's still a second-year quarterback. He's not on Josh Allen's level yet. And who else was on top there of the AFC right now? Who's let's see here. So I'm can you pull that back up on that standings right there?
Absolutely.
Just on the AFC.
And the Steelers you're thinking about. Man Rodgers.
So, right. It's just not exactly. So guys, come on now. I think Buffalo, like I said, they had their letdown games already. They put that behind them, and they're gonna go on a roll like they normally do, right? I would just say tomorrow is the most important day right now if you're a Buffalo Bills fan. I think that tomorrow is something that we need to really hope that Brandon Beane pulls some strings and makes some calls and makes some things happen, and that can really help us out, especially when we get into the playoffs. So
that's what I'm talking about. That is what I'm talking about. Folks, that's going to have to do it for another edition of Victory Mondays with yours truly and Tommy from Mafia Sports Report. As always, I always ask that you go subscribe to Tommy over at the Mafia Sports Report. He does a great job. If you enjoy my morning show, you're going to love his night show, all right? I am asleep during that show, but he does a great job. I watch the replays, all right? So
Thank you, Dan.
Tommy, what do you have to say to the audience right before we let them go?
Yeah, guys, hey, once again, man, Bills Mafia, you guys rule. I love you guys. I love that you guys support Dan. I love that you guys support me as well, and that you welcome me on this channel. So thank you for that. And guys, for those that we're not believing anymore in this team, I hope yesterday's game got you back on board to believing in the Buffalo Bills again, knowing that they still have that dog in them and that they still are a team to be reckoned with. So that being said, go Bills. Appreciate you guys.
Folks, we appreciate you. I will open up the Garage Beer Hotline tomorrow morning on the show. Have no fear. I know there's a lot that you guys want to say. Thank you so much for tapping in, and we'll see you tomorrow. Peace.
Go Bills.
Go Bills. Oh, by the way, we are having the Bills roundtable in 20 minutes. See you then.
There you go.